The moon was a perfect pearlescent sliver, hanging low over the black forest, not the forest of grim tales, but one woven from silk and shadow, where the air smelled of ancient moss and the deep, silent wisdom of pine needles. In this forest there was a small, forgotten valley known only to the creatures of the night and the occasional lost dream. In the center of this valley lay the willow brook, and beside the willow brook stood the cottage of old Elara. Elara was a weaver, not of wool or thread, but of moonlight silks. These silks were spun from beams of pure moonlight and the silver dew collected from the valley's rare nocturnal blooms. Her most prized possession, the most beautiful silk she had ever woven, was the shimmering water-blue tapestry she called the Fate of Ophelia. It was a strange name for a hopeful weaver, but Elara carried no sadness in her heart. To her, Ophelia was not the girl who drowned in melancholy, but a spirit who became one with the water, embracing its peace. Her tapestry depicted a figure not sinking, but effortlessly floating on the cool, dark surface of a river. The river was a constellation of deep blues and purples, and the figure's long, flowing hair mingled with the delicate tendrils of willow branches. She was asleep, perfectly at rest, surrounded by white lilies that seemed to hum a silent lullaby. Every night, Elara would drape the Fate of Ophelia tapestry over her loom, allowing the low moonlight to illuminate its silver threads. She believed that looking upon the image before sleep would teach a person how to surrender their worries to the deep, calming currents of the night, just as Ophelia had surrendered to the water. One evening, a little firefly named Lumen, who had lost his light during a sudden, confusing storm, stumbled into the valley. He was tiny, and his shell was dull, and he felt a crushing sense of emptiness. He was afraid to sleep, convinced that without his glow he was nothing. He saw the soft, steady light spilling from Elara's window and crept closer. Elara was sitting by her loom, humming a tune as quiet as falling snow. Lumen saw the tapestry, the peaceful, floating form, and felt a strange tug in his chest. "Why is she so calm?" Lumen whispered, his voice a faint click. Elara smiled, her face a map of kindness. "She is Ophelia. She is calm because she has released her anchor," she said softly. "Her burdens were too heavy for the land, so she gave them to the water. The water did not sink her, it carried her." "But I have nothing to release," Lumen sighed, "only the space where my light used to be. I am afraid that if I sleep, I will never wake up." Elara lifted the corner of the blue tapestry, revealing the shimmer beneath. "My dear Lumen," she said, "the fate of Ophelia is simply to become a part of something larger and more peaceful than her own pain. You are afraid of the dark, but the dark is just the sea that carries the stars. It is where all lost lights go to rest and be remade." She gently wrapped a tiny corner of the moonlight silk around the firefly. It was cool and smelled faintly of lavender and the far-off ocean. "Close your eyes, little one," Elara murmured. "Imagine you are not falling, but floating. Let the dark be the water. It will hold you. Tonight your light rests, but your essence remains. You are in the safest hands in the world, the soft, cool hands of deep, unburdened sleep." Lumen, feeling the cool silk and hearing the steady rhythm of the willow brook nearby, finally gave in. He imagined his tiny, dull shell sinking through the air, but then, exactly as Elara described, he felt a lift. He was floating in the cool, blue expanse of the tapestry. The white lilies seemed to gently cradle him. He slept for the first time in many nights, a deep, restorative, dreamless sleep. When the first pale light of dawn touched the valley, Lumen woke up. The silk had fallen away, and he was tucked into a velvety bed of moss. He lifted a tiny leg, and, to his astonishment, a faint, steady emerald glow pulsed from his abdomen. It was not the bright, frantic light he had lost, but a soft, resilient beacon, like a distant, patient star. He had not sunk. He had been carried. He chirped his thanks to the silent cottage and flew towards a wakened forest, carrying his small, new light. The fate of Ophelia, he realized, was not a tragedy but a lesson. To find peace, one only had to trust the current and let the water of the deepest night carry everything away.